Hello, my name is Randy Brock, and today I'll be discussing the Tesla market research proposal that I have created. The agenda for this presentation is as follows. I'll start off with the problem definition, talk about the research objectives, discuss who I'm targeting, then I'll get into the primary and secondary sources I plan on using. I'll get into the methodology I'm looking to use for this research. I'll talk about the potential participants. I'll discuss how I got into the data collection, which covers the instrumentation and tools and strategy. I'll talk about the timeline and cost. Then I'll get into the recommendations, and I'll leave off with the questions. After that, I also do have my references. Electric vehicles have been around for decades now, but the first notable company to produce one was Detroit Electric back in the early 1900s. Although technology has changed since then, furthering the idea that electric vehicles are more environmentally friendly due to the zero emission features. As time continued to progress, more and more features became readily available, making the electric vehicle more appealing to consumers. Tesla saw the demand for futuristic electric-powered vehicles and opened its doors in 2003, though the first car did not reach the consumer until 2008. Even leading up to its debut, the market appeared to be really interested in Tesla's revolutionized vehicle and began to act anxious for its arrival. However, when the vehicle was being rolled out, an issue occurred that nobody within the organization expected. The problem? Tesla's products has not remained profitable despite the high demand for electric vehicles within the economy. The consequence: if the organization does not find a middle ground with its product sales, the aggressive expansion practices that have been going on for years could put the organization in turmoil. Research objectives. The objective for this market research is to gather vital information on how Tesla can increase profitability for its products. To acquire the information necessary to meet the objective, 5 questions will be asked, with 3 of the 5 being an open-ended question. The first one: do you currently have a Tesla? Question 2: do you own an electric vehicle? Question 3: what about Tesla draws you to the products? Question 4: why did you not buy a Tesla vehicle? And question 5: what do you not like about Tesla products? For the first 2 questions, do you own a Tesla and would you own one, is worded to identify the person who is providing feedback. Overall, the goal is to capture feedback from both sides of the fence of the automobile industry consumer base. So, once the researchers identify the respondents, progression can be made to continue towards a more in-depth question. For questions 3, 4, and 5, the researchers are seeking inquiry on the consumer's perspective towards Tesla and electric vehicles in general. Moreover, what is it about the electric-powered automobiles that either appeals or deters them from purchasing one? The target audience. The targeted audience for this research will be current automobile consumers, both Tesla owners and electric car owners from competitive companies, individuals who are between the ages of 21 to 50, a 1-to-1 ratio of male to females, avid car enthusiasts, and have an annual salary of $60,000 or higher. Primary and secondary sources. For the primary means to collect data, Tesla will utilize 2 different sources: online surveys as well as face-to-face interviews through video chats. As for the secondary data source, I chose two market research companies, Quantcast as well as Hedges & Company. The reason for selecting Quantcast was based on their use of artificial intelligence on an array of examinations for different industries. Furthermore, Quantcast's AI software enhances the capability to pull and compute real-time audience insights on numerous products simultaneously. After analysis of the website, data was found on Tesla consumer owners, thus serving as a vital platform for the collection of research data. For the secondary company, Hedges & Company, there are some similarity with Quantcast. However, there is a difference in the data collected from this source. Instead of only looking at the information about current Tesla owners, Hedges & Company provides data pertaining to the rest of the automobile industry, to include electric vehicles. For this project, we will be utilizing a quantitative research methodology. The key takeaway from this approach is the emphasis on the numbers and mathematical calculations that it encompasses. For the primary survey, Tesla is looking to obtain how the consumer feels about different attributes on the vehicle. Once gathered, the research team can gauge what is currently meeting the consumer's expectations and what needs extra attention. As a reminder, the company needs to determine whether the price is a deterrent, the demand for electric vehicles is low, or is there another root cause? Potential participants, which covers the sampling strategy and the sampling size. While the research and concept is to address as many of the consumer base as possible, the mere workload that will entail is not plausible, let alone very costly. Thus, researchers must utilize sampling methodologies by establishing parameters and designating representatives to acquire generalized data that will represent the population. As a reminder, the target audience, or in this case the sampling strategy, is to focus on ages between 21 to 50, a ratio of 1 to 1 female and male, electric car enthusiasts, and have an annual salary of $60,000 or higher. So let me explain my way of thinking. First, I'll talk about the age range between 20 and 50. The average new age for a driver is 16. Take into consideration that it is highly unlikely that a 16-year-old, let alone an 18-year-old, is making an annual salary of $60,000, then the justification makes sense for raising the age range to a more realistic number that fits the situation. Next is the 1-to-1 ratio for male and female. The goal behind this strategy is to ensure the product appeals to both genders. Also, statistics have shown that the male to female ratio as of 2018 is even. The third requirement is electric car enthusiasts. With the automobile market, an array of vehicles is available. Some people may look for a work vehicle that can carry tools, pull equipment, go off-roading, or all the above, which decreases the likelihood that they will purchase a Tesla product. The same thing applies to electric car owners and their desire to drive these vehicles. Narrowing down the feedback retention to those who have an interest in electric vehicles will eliminate unnecessary data that could throw off the results of the research. Which leaves us with the last requirement, an annual salary of $60,000 or more. As one might expect, the revolutionized automobile that has set itself apart from the competition with its elegant designs and futuristic capabilities comes with a steep price tag. As a result, the consumer base is shrunk and limited to a designated social class. Consequently, banks are even hesitant to loan money on such a significantly high purchase if the borrower fails to meet specific standards. So like the justification for the other criteria, the goal is to limit the feedback to only those more likely to purchase the vehicles. the sampling size. Overall, there will be two groups: Tesla owners and other electric automobile owners. Once that is established, the two primary categories will then be broken down into subsections using a demographic segmentation approach. Based on 17.5 million vehicles being sold in 2019, a 90% confidence, and a 5% margin of error, the number of respondents needed for this research project is 385. However, with the anticipation that only 20% of the surveys will return, I have calculated that the required amount to send out is 1,925 to meet the threshold. Data collection, which includes the instrumentation and strategy. Thanks to technological advancements, another method within the market research and process is made simpler. As an alternative to the traditional method of face-to-face interviews and telephone interviews, the platform a researcher can now utilize is the internet in the form of online surveys and video chats, in addition to the use of secondary sources. The strategy. The strategy for the research team will be to consolidate the data, categorize it, and then transform the information into meaningful content for the stakeholders. Once again, fortunately for the researchers, SurveyMonkey utilizes advanced technology that will automatically consolidate and categorize the data, minimizing manual labor. The last step for the analysis is to transcribe the findings into a format that stakeholders can understand. It is vital to remember that in the end, the stakeholders will make the decision based on the findings derived from the market research. So now you may be wondering, how long will this take and how much will it cost? The goal is to expand the project over a 2-month period with 4 stages altogether. Each stage will have a 1-week deadline, with the exception to collecting data, in which the deadline is extended 3 extra weeks to maximize the potential of feedback. In week 1, this is where the foundation is built. The manager's needs are verified, the proposal is approved, and the questionnaire is fully developed. Next item on the list occurs during weeks 2 to 5, with the training of researchers occurring within the first 2 days of the week. Due to the simplicity of the equipment and software that will be used, the anticipated time it will take to train the data collectors is minimal. Thus, the 2 days will cover the familiarization of the tools. In the remainder of the 3 weeks, data will be dispersed, collected, compiled for the following stage. Which brings us to week 6. This is where the data is analyzed. And week 7 is when we present it to the stakeholders. The projected cost. The average quantitative research costs between $30,000 to $55,000. Of course, the cost fluctuates depending on the organization size, the pool of representatives, fees, expenses, etc. Tesla's research and effort slightly above it with an estimated cost of $60,000. Based on the modern day statistics, the estimated cost for online surveys is $2,500 to $5,000 for 200 people. While there are video chat platforms that do not cost anything for usage, considering Tesla is looking to send out 1,925 surveys, the estimated cost is roughly $36,000 at the rate of $400,000 per 200 surveys. Each survey returned will receive a $10 incentive, which makes the sampling expense $3,850. For the software fees, the price is a little more straightforward, with a setting cost of $900 for SurveyMonkey, which is a year expense. The last expense for the market research is the report. Due to the content needed, the report that will be most beneficial to the stakeholders is a product detail market report with an estimated cost of $15,000. Recommendations. My first recommendation is to become familiar with the Market Research Association's Code of Ethics. For Tesla, the most anticipated ethical hurdle the researchers will face is establishing respect, having transparency, and providing protection for the data collected. First and foremost, the individuals who are taking the survey want to be treated with respect. That means the avoidance of having the mindset that they are exclusively test subjects. The next one is transparency. As a reminder, the company is trying to earn the customer's trust, and allowing them access to the data furthers the accuracy for the responses by evaluating what was gathered and what did the researcher get wrong. Lastly, the consumer needs to ensure that their data is protected. Too many times over the years had a company been a victim to a data breach or accidentally leaking sensitive information. Even more disturbing is that the consumer is the one who takes most of the impact. As a result, people become more hesitant in providing an organization with information. Another recommendation I have is for Tesla, and that is to maintain awareness of market trends. This can be done in an assortment of ways, such as the Green Book Research Industry Trends, Market Watch, or regularly following publications and market influencers. New technology is coming out every other day, so it will be beneficial for the company to maintain awareness of what is out because it could save them money in the end. This concludes my presentation, and I'll open the floor for any questions you may have. For the references, you will find them on the following slides. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a nice day.